Yeah, so as I was saying, Sunday the 20th of January 2019, in one of my videos I've mentioned that in the year 2010 I was on a dating site called europals.net. I was advertising myself as a psychic mediumship, clairvoyant, hands-on healer because I was working in that field at the time. Strange that in that field, my surname's Field, and I live in a road called Mansfield Road. Man, which I am, a man, S for Stuart, and Field, my surname. And that's another funny coincidence, isn't it? Well, anyway, getting back to the year I just stated, I was on Europals.net. I met a female. She said she was from Russia. She worked as a pole dancer, stripper. Her name was Saskia. After a while, she sent me photographs of herself and was very interested in my mediumship work and being able to contact people on the other side in two-dimensional worlds. And she said she wanted to become a United Kingdom citizen and settle down in England and marry me. Now, she was a blonde, and I'm not really attracted to blondes, but I prefer females with long white hair or dark brown hair, to be honest. But anyway, she was a blonde, and I thought, well, I'd have sex with her, but I'm not going to marry her like that. So anyway, we got chatting even more, and I was on Skype together. And then after a while, when I told her more about celestial and contacting the dead, she suddenly said to me, she works for Moscow FSB, Secret Intelligence Police, at a Moscow police station, firearms division, but she hasn't carried a gun in years. And then I said, oh, I'm not really interested in forming a relationship with someone who works for the police, although many of my family, relatives and cousins are barristers and one's a police officer. Anyway, she then told me what she had. They had a satellite on the location of the house I was staying in, which was Sandpiper Terrace, Clayhall IG5 at the time, when I had a laptop back then. And after about a week, three guys of Ukrainian accent tried to drag me into a car, but I screamed in the street and they drove away. A couple of years ago, I saw the same type of people. Two of them I recognised, the third one I didn't, and they grabbed hold of my wrist and slammed it into a car. And about a month ago or so, I was followed, and I ran into my local park, Valentine's Park, where two men and a woman, and one of the guys pointed a gun to my head. And basically I managed to squash the guy's eyeball in with my left thumb. When I was interviewed by the police, they said, well, it was self-defense. But the fact of the matter is, I'm living in a house where I made an allegation over someone a year and a half ago, and this is a truthful allegation. The events did take place. And then someone comes here about 2 months ago, starts working here. I can't mention the name of a building, but starts working here and then gets to know me. And then after a while, the other week says, what goes around comes around. And they made up just one false allegation against me, but a very illegal, dangerous one, which could put me in prison. So I've had a full nervous breakdown. I spoke to the police about these FSB people after the last incident with when I had a gun pointed to my head in a park. They said they're taking the matter seriously, but it doesn't change the fact what these people, I'm not talking about the police, but these people who had that gun pointed to my head, they spoke a Ukrainian accent. Same type of people, and they know where I live, and I've not been moved on somewhere else, and I've deteriorated, and what with the people in this building, corrupt. That's why I've had to make all these videos, to protect myself for a later date, shouldn't if I require a solicitor. That's why, no other reason. So basically, the allegation made against me by a person who works in this building, well, I will contact the police this week and say, well, can you have that person put on video camera, please? and have them tell you exactly what happened, and I'll do exactly the same. And the same with an allegation made in this house by myself a year and a half ago, when someone here touched me on my bottom when I was dressed up in my female clothing. Because after being raped by a man at 14 years old, as stated, my mind froze. I stayed 14 years old. I stayed a youngish type of immaturity mind in my head. I've never moved forward, and I do relive everything and have flashbacks. And these are my own personal statements for at a later date, because I've got cirrhosis of the liver. I may even die this year. I'm being told I'm being evicted onto the streets because of all the trouble that's happened here and how it's affected me. Because when someone is touched in a sexual way, it affects people in ways which are totally different to the next person. And no one, these people here think, most of them are unqualified and not fully trained, and they don't have the answers. So these videos I'm making are purely, the truth. The diary of a nervous breakdown victim, namely myself. I worked as a psychic years ago. I was able to hands-on healing, have people fall in love with each other via eye contact with photographs. I do have someone watching over me. And I have had multiple people, mainly girls, who have done me wrong, come to unusual circumstances. Some drop dead, and some just disappear off the face of the planet. Just paranormal phenomenon, really, unexplainable phenomenon. So the person who's made a false allegation against me is basically... I wouldn't be surprised if that person ends up dead next year. Most likely I'll be dead before then, because I've got some serious medical problems under mental health. They're all working together and not helping me with anything. And eventually I've got to go back to a car park what I jumped off of on Friday the 1st of April 2000 at 03:20 AM. And either end up paralysed or dead, because the entire system has failed me. Because to end up on the streets homeless, people get murdered on the streets homeless. I'm not streetwise, so I'd have to go to a car park, throw myself off the second floor, like I did on Friday the 1st of April 2000, break both my legs or completely paralyse my body, because the entire mental health system has failed me. Does anyone out there think that's right? I'm not allowed to talk about the people where I live for threats from them of having me taken to court and charged with everything what's happened here. I'll just simply say, I live in Ilford, Essex, so flipping what? But here's a bit of a strange coincidence. I live in Mansfield Road, and I am a man. And so you got man, then S, then Field. And my whole life has been one big coincidence with surnames and places. Man, that's me, Stuart. S for Stuart. Field, my surname, Mansfield. Practically everyone who's come into contact with me in my life, about 5 people have the same surnames. 10 people have the same names. And these are the only people who have ever come into my life, no one else. But they've been led to me. I haven't been led to them. So there's a lot of strange circumstances around me. And basically I consider myself a very special person, very special. I used to get channeled by people from the other side saying we're all special. Yeah, we are all special, but not everyone. People with special chosen gifts who were born abnormally sensitive and then exploited by other people, and then suddenly they can't fight back against those other people, but suddenly paranormal phenomenon enters the lives of the exploiters and stuff happens to them. Got a psychiatrist, he says your race is just coincidental and deluded. I said, no, it's not deluded, because I've actually got the witnesses and I can prove and back everything up. Coincidental, you can call it coincidental, you can call it banana toffee pie, but it doesn't matter what you call it, these events have still happened. So yeah, just again, I've had multiple people murdered. I've come into contact with people, and people have been murdered around me. I worked in McDonald's in Ilford, Essex, at the time when Alison Mannering worked there. Now, in April 1993, she was murdered, dismembered, raped and strangled by Benjamin Lang, and her father Gordon was shot dead. And but I actually worked in McDonald's with Alison years before she was murdered. Now, just next door to McDonald's in Ilford High Road is a Havelock pub. Just across the road was a shop called TK Maxx. I'm not sure if it's still TK Maxx now. When I was round that way the other week, I saw scaffolders up there, but that shop was known as TK Maxx. And I met a female 2 or 3 years ago called Michelle Samawira, and she worked in TK Maxx. She was also raped and murdered by the Walthamstow serial rapist. I knew both these girls. Both these girls made news headlines. I get led to the right places for me at the right times, but I get led to some people and they just end up being murdered. So I've got no reason to lie on nothing. I mean, I believe in the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You know, so I've got no reason to lie about anything. And I've been made to look like, well, I don't know really. All I can say is this: all my statements here, the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, what I put on YouTube. And I strongly believe, through having near-death experiences, NDEs, that in the next life we're simply judged in the lives we've led in this life and the percentage of our truthfulness in this life before we are resurrected into a new body for a next life. I've had near-death experiences. I've had cardiac arrests when I've been awake. I've had several cardiac arrests when I've been awake over the years, and in these cardiac arrests, I sort of like close my eyes for a split second. Then I open my eyes, and I can see people all around me. I can't move any of my limbs. I can see the room turning horizontal and vertical. I can see all my surroundings, but I can hear this strange ticking clock noise in both my ears. And then I lose consciousness sometimes, and sometimes I got my eyes open, and then suddenly I come back to normal. I guess it was just once after I'd been resuscitated once. But there was one time when I had cardiac arrest type, and basically what happened was I saw, apparently my eyes were open, but I saw golden light. And I was on like a conveyor belt, and I was going straight forward on this golden light towards some type of circle. But just as I was about to go in, I got rebounded back. I didn't hear no holy words like they do in the movies, saying, "It is not your time, we are sending you back," and any of that crap. But I didn't, nothing like that, nothing like in Hollywood movies, just like I've said. So a lot of people on YouTube may get their kicks out of watching my videos, but my videos are purely for a solicitor at a later date if required. I'm already on hunger strike because of the way I've been treated. If I end up in prison or a mental hospital, I stay on hunger strike. I comply with everyone because I'm a nice person, but I stay on hunger strike until I'm dead because I'm a very special person. So I began my hunger strike a few weeks ago. Had a few Ensure. I'm on Ensure Plus drinks. This is liquid milkshake drinks for people who don't eat properly. But I can't even have a cup of tea, orange juice, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, anything without my stomach, the fluid in my stomach getting more and more bigger. Because I got excessive fluid in my body. I have my socks on for about 5 minutes, sometimes half an hour. And when I pull my socks down, both my lower legs look out of shape from where I've got too much excessive fluid in my body. So my situation in life is doomed. Like I said, mental health services come under Goodmayes Hospital. Had me in their system for over 19 years. Just don't want to listen to anything I've got to say, and just believe in what they want to hear. I've completely broken down in my head. I've placed myself on second to second suicide watch. Truly have. Yeah.